episode of Sessions with Mary Jane. I am your host, Jordan Freed, and I am a little Jordan fried after we have introduced our host to our studio, our guest. I am the host. Wow, weed makes you do funny things. Our guest today was actually at an event that I was at last weekend, and you know, doing comedy, you have some interesting openers in your life, and you have some interesting people you do some shows with. But I had the honor of being on a show with a real-life Firespitter, Needlez. Welcome, Needlez.
Hey, how are you doing, Jordan?
Oh, it's good to have you in the studio. We over here at LNH Studios and Sessions with Mary Jane have a lot of interesting guests, but you are our first Firespitter.
Honored to be the first of my kind.
Yeah. Would you say that's kind of carnival-y? Kind of side off the carnival?
I've always presented myself as a sideshow performer because I do more than fire, but Carnival, they handle the sideshow at Rotfest.
Nice.
Like when I do other stuff, such as rent fairs or benefits and everything, I throw in some glass walking, human pincushion, human blockhead.
Yo, it's about time I give you our challenge because you're already doing what your challenge is. I was going to say, other types of performance arts is going to be your challenge today.
Okay.
Since you are a unique type of performance artist. And I think you said something about like glass walking you also do.
Yeah,
what
that's
else
my ode out to Annie Lennox, the true queen.
Wait, tell me more. I don't know.
Annie Lennox?
Word, yeah.
It's just a joke I do because she did this song back in the early 90s, walking on broken glass. So I always like to perform to that song because it's ironic. It's funny.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So you said you got involved in different types of events. Mm-hmm. Let's start from the beginning, I guess. I guess we should start from the beginning before we start. Well, no, we'll start with your big events. Yeah, so we were just at Rotfest.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked with them before?
I've been working with Alex and the crew over at Rack on Tour for a few months now. Back in April, JR from Carnival, he contacted me and asked me if I wanted to come spit some fire out at this bookmobile. And I was like, absolutely. And so I got in touch with Alex, and I've been performing there about once a month ever since.
Wow.
And it's nice because last year when events started opening after the pandemic and everything, nobody was coming out. But now there's a slow build. I have the Ren Fair in about a month in Lakewood.
Word.
And I'm bringing in my crew from Pennsylvania, the Hoot Mistresses, for that. And I think I can see people coming out. I think this is going to be a big one.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the Hoot Mistresses?
Hoot Mistresses were formed at least 10, 15 years ago by a very good friend of mine, Azula Murdra. We grew up together in the hardcore scene of Pennsylvania, R.I.P. the Silo. And we just kind of fell in with the same crowd. We were reintroduced a few years later through our mutual friend, Josh Blue Eyes Ron. He had gotten his the whites of his eyes tattooed, and he did a whole bunch of sideshow. And he inspired me to do hook suspension. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But Azula and I got reconnected through that, and we started performing again throughout the years. And earlier this year, she brought me on as a contracted performer, and we do a bunch of events together ever since.
Wow, very cool. What was the Silo?
The Silo. Wow, the Silo was the local concert venue. It was just this little club. I went there and I saw my first concert there, which was Vanilla Ice, no shame whatsoever. And they had just such good punk rock shows there. I saw Guar there a few times. The horrorcore rap group I was in, we played there a few times, and the Silo was actually the first place I ever did fire breathing in front of a crowd.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, it was the best, you know, because everybody came there together to celebrate. There was such a good local music scene. A few bands still active, like Anthrophobia and Spinebelt, keeping it alive. But it was beautiful back in the day, but it got closed down, unfortunately. But Frank Phobia, who used to book all the shows there, he's opening up another skate park, and I know he wants to start having shows there again, so bless him for keeping it alive.
No, that's amazing. And what town was that?
Berks County.
Berks County.
Yeah.
Cool. What was it like growing up in Berks County?
Boring as fuck.
Do you think
that's why I started breathing fire? There was literally nothing to do there. So one day, at my bandmate's house, sitting on his back porch, just stoned out of my mind, and I see a can of lighter fluid over on the corner of the porch. And I was like, well, let's see what happens. So I took a big swig of it, pulled out my lighter, and it was just this little flame. But I was like, okay, I do this now. And
wow, that was the origin story. Weed leads to a lot of great things.
It really does.
It is funny. I saw you take a puff of your vape pen. I think like before you went up and did the fire spitting, and I was just like, oh, it's gonna be a good crowd for it. Like people are stoners. And then I saw you being the performer, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Safety meetings.
He does have safety meetings, y'all. He does give the audience a lot of notes, and he practices a lot, and he makes sure he has the right fluid, he told me.
Yeah. So I do everything safe because when I was 19 years old, I fucked up hardcore and set my face on fire. And I knew it was going to happen too. But I was fortunate enough later that year to run into Bizarro, the optical illusionist, while he was still on the traveling circuit. And he kind of mentored me through a lot. He taught me most of the stuff that I know in my act. But he taught me the safest ways and fluids and everything to do the fire breathing with. And there's no way to make it safe. It's just you're minimizing the danger. And that's why we always say, don't try this at home, because even just having the fluid in my mouth, the biggest threat to my health when I do fire breathing is chemical pneumonia through the...
Oh.
Yeah, so there is no safe way to breathe fire.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Could you tell us a little bit more about Bizarro? Like, just for people who don't know this world as much, like, what was his, like, claim to fame? Or, like, where was his region that he kind of did a lot of shows?
So, he grew up in Texas, I want to say.
Cool.
Yeah. And I read in his biography, one of the coolest things that I've ever read is he knew that he could make a living off of his talents alone. So he got involved in the traveling circuit, which ended up coming to the haunted attraction I worked at, Shocktoberfest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I saw him breathing fire, and I saw this other guy, Moose, doing human pincushion. There was Candy, who did glass walking, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and Spike, who did a whole bunch of. I think he did a lot of human pincushion stuff too, but they were just the coolest people ever. And this was like the first time I thought to myself, running away with the circus just makes sense. This is what I should do. And so they kind of took me under their wings and, taught me a little bit of the ropes. But Bizarro himself is a very big optical illusionist. He lives out in Vegas now and does shows there, and got started on the traveling circuit. He got on America's Got Talent back in the day when they were just getting started, and now he just does shows all over the world.
Wow.
So talk about sticking to your guns.
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of high last night, and I was just looking for something to fall asleep to, and I just put on The Secret, and I was like, I don't know if you've ever seen that shit.
I have, and
it's definitely BS, but like
it's bullshit.
But I do wonder about that sometimes when I think about like what you're doing and how you need to have confidence to at least like go through it, because like, or is it just like
So I knew someone who turned me on to The Secret, and I didn't realize it was bullshit right away until this dude was taking it way too fucking literally about how you don't have to do anything. Just put your will towards it. It'll happen. So I'm just walking around like 2 weeks from now, the universe is going to answer my thoughts. And then, eventually I got out of that living situation and was like, okay, I actually have to put work into this.
Oh, sure.
The only person who was standing in my way was me, and having this irresponsible idea that The Secret is 100% true. I mean, if it's such a secret, then why isn't everyone, achieving your dreams? Because I'm pretty sure that's all anyone wants at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, no, this is the type of shit we get into on this podcast, whether or not The Secret is bullshit or not.
Yeah.
Cool. So, do you have siblings?
5.
5. Wow. Are any of them else daredevils like you?
We're all different in our own way. I guess the closest to what I do is my sister. She's really big into body modifications, has her tongue split.
Oh, wow. She's
had her lips sewn shut, big gauges in her ears, a lot of tattoos.
What happens when your lips are sewn shut?
You can't talk.
Do you keep them for a couple of days? Like, was it a silent strike, or she opened them back up?
I don't question what my sister does.
Oh, I'm not questioning.
No, because chances are I don't want to know anyway.
Yeah, that's sick. No, I'm very curious about the lip sewn shit. That's actually wild. I've never heard of that before. It's amazing.
It's a little bit out of my league. I'll do hook suspension, but I don't want to sew my lip shut.
What is hook suspension? Is that like
hook suspension?
You
actually get hooks inserted into your skin, and you hang off of them. It's like a substitute to flying.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much does our skin hold?
You'd be surprised. The rig I was on Sunday at Synthesis Studio, I think they said it was able to hold either 300 or 600 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And like our skin can like...
Yeah, it stretches and just can hold you. They're very professional. Like they actually, check your skin, and it's all done in a very professional and sterile environment.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Damn. I have to see you suspend now.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah? Is it very painful or...
Not as much. It's very freeing because, our whole lives we're told we can't fly, but when you look down and you see your feet off the ground, so.
Wow.
I beg to differ.
You're feeling a lot of things when
you're
going through it.
Let me spin around, let me kick a fucking wall. I don't need gravity up here.
Are there any things that you are afraid of that you think would surprise people?
Ladders and horses.
Wow. Yeah, that is kind of surprising. Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have to go to the dentist a lot?
No. And so here's the thing, and this was explained to me by my friend Azula, because she asked at her dentist. You think about when a corpse is charred in a house fire or something like that. How do they identify the body? Dental records. So my teeth are going to withstand the flames. But
I'm just very curious about the whole process. I don't think there's been are there a lot of documentaries on fire spitting?
Not that I know of. It's still kind of taboo. It is starting to pick up interest, but unfortunately a lot of people getting into it aren't very serious, because people keep sending me this one video of this guy he steps out onto the street, he has a long beard, which really isn't a danger if you're using the right fluid. But if I had to guess, he's using 151, and you just see him breathe the flame, and then he pulls it away, and it's still going. So it's stuck in his beard, it's flaming, and he still has some in his mouth, so he spits out as he's screaming, and that goes, so it's like people just pick it up because they think it's cool, and they're not understanding the risks involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much were you influenced by, jackass type people? Was that an influence at all, or you were just side? No,
not at all.
Stuff.
It is I have respect for the Jackass boys for what they did and how far they got with it and everything, but it's not sideshow.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole idea came to me when I was 8 years old. There was this episode of the X-Files called Humbug. Had the Jim Rose it had Jim Rose and the Enigma on it.
Okay.
And it had Sideshow. They did human blockheads, some stuff with hooks. And I remember, I turned to my dad, and I was like, is this real? Is this something that I can do for my life? And he was like, no, it's fake. It's all made up. I looked at him and I said, I'm going to make it real. And
your dad was probably oh shit! Well, just unlocked by saying it wasn't real.
And not only that, but he was listening to Kiss, so I saw Gene Simmons breathing fire, and I always thought that was cool. Nice. And I'm sure that played an influence on me. So I don't know. It's just these things, I never put much thought into it. I just knew when I first found out about it that it was what I wanted.
Do you think a lot do you ever ponder the spirituality of fire? Is that ever involved in your process and being around it all the time, or is it more just I just do the show? I don't think about anything else about it.
There's a certain freedom to fire that I see that I absolutely love, because it's just free to, I don't know, be fire. It's free to be fire. And it's very mesmerizing to look at, but to be able to control it, that's just on a whole nother level. Have you ever seen the animated series Eon Flux?
No, I haven't.
in the one episode, there's this quote that I love, and I've used it a ton of times throughout the years. That which the flame does not consume consumes the flame. I consume the flame.
Wow.
And so that's just always been very spiritual to me.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I've never really thought about fire spiritually at all, or, like, in other ways, but I read some weird article, not a weird article, it was just, like, a very deep article about the dude Tony Hsieh, the guy who started Zappos.
I know that...
He wrote the book Delivering Happiness. So it was very much about like customer service and like being a good person, and he always had happy employees because they were just living in Las Vegas and they had good hours. They were like remote workers before people were remote workers, and they just like had very good work-life balances. And he was like rich as hell off of like Silicon Valley shit, but like he passed away over the pandemic, and he was like doing some like spiritual searching into fire.
Really?
Like, he, like, locked himself in his shed, and, like, there was tons of fire, like, a bunch of candles, and apparently, like, they just couldn't get him out, like, of the fire shed. But, like, he seemed like he was, like, I don't know, he did a lot of drugs, I think, also, so he might have been, like, off the deep end, being like, what is this fire going to bring me to? But also, like, he probably knew a lot of physics stuff, too, so I am curious sometimes about, like, is that the portal to the other worlds that, like, I don't know.
Hallucinogens are definitely a portal to another world if you use them responsibly.
Have you dabbled in hallucinogenics?
Quite a bit. A few years ago, I got into Bill Hicks, and he just made me look at hallucinogens in a whole new way, because I had definitely used them before. One of my favorite stories I love to tell people is how me and my best friend Zach watched E.T. while on some gel tabs of acid, and by the end of it, we're praising Jesus because Jesus is fucking E.T. But Bill Hicks made me see it in a whole new way, and I took an eighth of some golden teachers a few years back, and it was snowing this day. It was December 30th, 2017. They will live in my life for infamy because it was that night.
Oh my God.
You know, I had an amazing trip on it. But that night while I was taking like inventory of my life and everything, would you like to try this?
Yeah, sure. I've never tried this before.
Yeah, it's Wonka bars. The strain I got. But anyway, that night I was taking inventory of my life and just, you can take a few if you'd like. I was just taking inventory of my life and thinking, you know, what's going on? You know, there's something about my life I need to change because I wasn't happy with it. I was making some bad decisions, and that night I was like, alcohol. What happens if I give up alcohol? Because whenever I had problems, I would quickly turn to alcohol, and it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't changing my life in any way. So a week later, I had my last drink, and I haven't had a drop of alcohol since.
Wow, that's magical.
Yeah, and I will, till the end of my life, swear it was that eighth of mushrooms that helped me do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand. Well, now people are understanding, but it like Michael Pollan's releasing all this like crap. Like he released a book and some stuff about how to change your mind and just like your mind on plants and stuff like that. And he's starting to like push the academia towards like, oh, you can get over addiction and trauma through mushrooms and stuff like that, which like I totally do believe that. Like there's a lot of stuff in my life that I've like overcome just because of psychedelics and things that have pushed me that way.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think that they want to talk about it enough because, you know, it gives people a different feeling of freedom. Like it makes you just rethink everything. And, I think a lot of people see that as dangerous. So that's why they're kept illegal.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to like fuck up your head, but like changing your reality, it's like the Matrix. It's literally like the red pill or the blue pill. Like you're going to change your awareness of the world. So like, I don't know. There are some like very ignorant people who are very happy who I'm like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do mushrooms, like, because it is going to make you like question your fucking family and question your shit in your life and be like,
Jesus,
what's going on in my life? Like how did I get here? What's going on? Like, how do I relate to all of the people around me? How do I relate to the earth? And it's like a lot of questions that like a lot of Americans, I think, like to live in ignorance, which like is the beauty of America, I think, is like you could be a very smart person who reads a lot and like does psychedelics and like hangs out in coffee shops and is like hanging with subversive people, but you could also like just watch Fox 5 every day, whether it's like football or like The Simpsons afterwards or whatever.
Turn on your TVs, America.
Yeah. Cool. What else do you like to do in your free time?
I don't know. I like to think a lot. I do a lot of writing. I've been working on writing material for live shows lately because, presentation is everything. So I'm trying to do a lot more Renaissance fairs and add like a Dragonborn twist to it. The whole, I'm learning the Dovazul so I can actually speak the dragon tongue.
Oh, wow. I know nothing of that.
Yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, Skyrim, stuff like that.
Oh.
Tabletop RPGs. It's a character that's a human with the soul of a dragon and the blood of a dragon. And I just always thought it was cool, and I was like, yeah, that'd be really easy to work into what I do with the fire breathing and everything.
Yeah, that's actually so real.
Mm-hmm.
It's you wouldn't even need special effects if you were making a movie. You could you would literally just be like, wait, hold on a second, like start the tape after I do this. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really are like more a fantasy character than a real human sometimes. I guess in your performance, that's like cool to drift back and forth between Earth and
I don't really like
simulation.
to live in reality as it is. Like, it's just too much run by media and conspiracy theories that don't fucking make sense, and people who are just not really sure of what they believe in, but they'll let the word, a certain word, control their thoughts. Like I said, I don't like talking about politics, but sometimes it's unavoidable. I just stay out of either side of things and, ask myself what's right and what's wrong. Like, is this about freedom or are you just being a dick?
Yeah, exactly. I think it also goes back to where we just met the other day. We met at this the Rock Fest thing, and it's like that's what America is about. It's like community.
Exactly.
Like there were vendors there making money. There were artists doing art. There were people who were off on their weekend, like enjoying it, and it's like that's what America's all about. And it's
just
we need more of that shit. We need people going to baseball games and like just doing fun stuff as opposed to just fighting all the time.
Just get away from reality.
Yeah, it's just getting so like obnoxious that people are just like they're literally everybody's just wasting our whole lives like fighting with each other as opposed to just being like, oh, like I could just like be kind to my neighbor and just be done with that.
That's why punk rock shows are my happy place, because everyone's there just to have a good time and get in the circle and run.
Oh yeah, wow. Are you into music a lot? Do you play music?
I don't play music. I would love to sing for a band, but I love music in general. I don't really have any specific genres. I'll listen to almost anything except for really popular bands. Like my playlists range, like it wouldn't be unusual for there to be like some really heavy, dark, black, extreme metal from Behemoth or Cabal.
Oh, wow.
And then next song will be Tori Amos. After that, we'll have Backstreet Boys. Like, I am welcome to all music genres here, but I've really been into a lot of like Viking metal lately, like Saltatio Mortis. Like that seems to be what's driving me in the whole direction of doing the Dragonborn and more Nordic theme lately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess like if you had a like Las Vegas show, what would the soundtrack be?
Las Vegas show. It depends because Las Vegas I think would be like more open to different music styles. Like at a Ren Fair, I probably couldn't get away with doing a staff routine to Bartzabel by Behemoth. But that might be more acceptable in Vegas. I mean, I guess it would all depend on what I do.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying like you got your stadium show, like you're at Madison Square Garden right now. Like, what's the soundtrack? Like, what's the ultimate show that you would love to do? If it is like a dragon character at the biggest, or is it something else?
A dragon character. My soundtrack would probably consist of Scald, Saltatio Mortis, Teresa's, Rammstein, and Annie Lennox.
Nice. Is there a special diet that fire breathers have, or specifically you as just an individual person? Do you like a certain food a lot? What is your favorite food?
All right, so
besides fire, what do you like to put in that mouth?
You caught me at a weird time in my life because I was vegan for 4 years, and then one day I just thought to myself, why? Because it was never about the animals. In all honesty, the reason why I went vegan at the time was because all the women who were coming in and out of my life were either vegan or vegetarian, and I was like, well, this just makes it easier when we go out to eat.
Yeah.
And then about a month and a half ago, I was in Pennsylvania, and I was hanging out with a couple of my friends, and they were like, what do you want to eat for lunch? And I was like, brisket.
Wow.
But my favorite food is wings, and I like extremely hot wings. I love to do the hot wing challenges next month, actually, in Secaucus at the New York City Hot Sauce Expo. I'm competing for the world record of Carolina Reaper peppers eaten in a minute.
Whoa. Wait, when is this? Can people watch this?
Yes, like September 25th. It's $10 a ticket. And I'm going to be on the stage of Doom, and I have 1 minute to eat as many Carolina Reaper peppers as possible. I've been practicing lately, and I have some scorpion peppers at home. I got someone hooking me up with Carolina Reaper peppers next weekend. This is what I was fucking born to do.
Oh yeah, now let's get to it.
We're getting serious.
Wait, so you're trying to move your way into competitive eating a little bit more. Specifically spicy competitive eating.
That or wings. Like I did the at the AC Beer and Music Festival a few years ago, back when I still drank. And I was there for fucking flogging Molly. But they had a wing contest there, and I'm just this skinny little dude. As you can see, not much meat to me. I weigh in at probably about $160, and probably less at the time because I wasn't going to the gym, and I was drinking a lot. I put on a lot of weight when I quit drinking, but I was there. Dinosaur hat atop my head, and I just tore into those wings. I won, but for some bullshit reason, they gave it to some other guy who ate less wings than me.
What?
I ate 23 wings. He ate 22 wings, but they said that I had more meat left on the wings that I had than he did. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
Last time I checked, 3 is more than 2.
Wow. We're gonna watch. We're gonna bring some journalists to make sure that there's no corruption next time.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow. Competitive eating.
Yeah. At least with the spicy stuff. But if I get the world record, then what's the point? Joy, I guess, because I do enjoy the spicy foods.
I feel like you have to be on hot ones just to give them the finger. No.
If anyone can hook me up with that, I would absolutely be interested.
Does he ever have hot, like, spicy celebrities, or he just has regular celebrities and makes them eat spicy things?
He just has spicy celebrities now. I don't watch much TV or YouTube or anything anymore. But what I did see, he asked some really good questions. And he just brings on normal celebrities. It's a good format that he has.
It is. You said you were going to hit a hot sauce store.
Yes.
Is there one near you? You said there's one nearby me?
Yes. I got to see what the hottest thing there is. Because I've had some pretty intense stuff. One that actually gave me a nosebleed, but I have not tapped out yet. Nice. Yeah.
Good stuff. My short film, that was my thesis film in college, was called Wings.
Wings?
Yeah, and it was about, it culminates on people eating wings at the end of the film.
That is like a whole community on its own, because I actually started doing like competitive wing eating back in high school.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how I got into it, and it's fucking competitive.
Wow.
Yeah.
In what ways did you not expect it to be competitive?
I don't know. Before you do something, you don't realize just, all there is to it.
Where do these things happen usually? Are they like small towns, or are they like more televised and like live streams? So that's kind of the excitement of them, or they get like spectators who are like family and friends of the immediate competitors.
It all depends. I know Shocktoberfest, where I worked there back in the day. They have a pepper jam there like once a year. Or they have in the past, and there was like competitive pepper eating there. But those were more endurance than speed. To see who could last the longest through Scovilles and everything.
How far would you get into those?
I haven't found my limit yet.
So you won that?
I actually never did one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying that to know how far I'd go is I have not found my limit on hot sauces or anything. There was one, I was gasping for air. There's video of it on my Facebook. I'm gasping for air, I can barely talk, oozing from every orifice in my face. Wasn't tapping out. That was the one I got a nosebleed from. Fuck.
Wow. Yeah. Damn. So you've been lit on fire. You got a nosebleed from that. Is there any other major accident that you've had to overcome from like all of these performance art, daredevil, feeling the other side type things? Those are probably the big ones, right?
So the fire was definitely the worst that I sustained from Sideshow.
Which you said, kids at home listening to Sessions with Mary Jane, he stopped, he dropped, and he rolled, right?
This is actually a hilarious story, if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
So it was out in the Poconos with my buddies Zach, Chris, and DJ. And back in the day, I was not professional about it. I was very unsafe. I knew, like, this is when I realized that, like, if I'm going to do this, I should probably get some professional training. But anyway, we used to go to NASCAR races and camp out the night before and sell pictures of the drivers to people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we would look for people, like, just pouring fuel onto their fires. And, you know, we'd go and be like, hey, you know, you want to see me breathe fire? So we were at the campsite and we saw some people pouring some fluid on the fire, and we're like, there's our cue. Let's go. And so I walk over and I was like, hey, you know, would you guys like to see me breathe some fire? And they're like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And I was like, all right, let me get you lighter fluid. So they hand me a big jug of charcoal lighter fluid. My exact words were, this is going to make my face explode. So, foreshadowing. And to which my friend Zach said, don't be a pussy, Eric. And I was like, well, if that's how it's going to be, I'll blow my face up. So I took a big swig of lighter fluid, and he held the torch, which I should explain. Now, before I continue, none of what I do in this story should anyone do if you do decide to breathe fire. The torch we were using at a time was this big, like, 8-10 foot fucking branch with a shirt wrapped around it, soaked in lighter fluid, lit a blaze. Zach holds it up and, like, puts it over to my face, and I breathe the charcoal lighter fluid. Huge flame. It was beautiful. And then when I finished, I just see some flame. I'm like, well, that's odd. So I start slapping it. It's making it worse. And I'm just looking around at everyone. You know, I don't know what to do. I've never been in this situation before. And I just yell out, guys, what do I do? And my buddy DJ comes running over. Eric, stop, drop, and roll! So I get down on my knees, slam my face in the dirt, and just put out the fire. And just smoke pours out from underneath me. And DJ gets down, puts his hand on my shoulder. Are you okay? Yeah. He yells out to the campground, he's okay, folks! That campground exploded in applause. Cheers. Yeah. Fucking just, they were super proud of me. Yeah. And I've just kind of been chasing that amount of applause ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should start doing it in the race car suits.
See, those would be kind of restricting because the one thing I do fleshing, like,
Oh yeah, that is sick too.
Yeah. And like with the vapor transmissions I've been doing now, like I can light it off my skin. I got those torches from fireinyourface.com.
Oh wow.
Fucking real cool because you're able to do your own color scheme on the torches, and they make them for you, the hollow torches. For anyone who does do fire vapor transmissions and wants to know where to get some good torches, fireinyourface.com.
Nice. I know some people who do like fire on hula hoops. I know some people who do fire spinning and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have a few friends that do that too. Azula, who heads the Hoop Mistresses, she does that. And the one thing we do is the hoop breath, where I'll breathe fire off of her hoop. I accidentally set her on fire the one time that I did it. So she's going to get revenge on me for that at the Lakewood Renaissance Fair.
What goes around comes around.
Exactly. You know what? I earned my punishment.
This is true. You have some tats on your body. What's your relationship with tattoos? They look very interesting.
All right, so I'll talk about my first tattoo. This one right here is an anarchy. It was a needle and thread job done by my friend Zach. who's no longer with us. So this was like my first time. We were all on acid, and we gave each other needle and thread tattoos of this. So he had one too. And after he died, I got Zach was here pointing to it.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, after that, I honestly find tattoos to be very therapeutic. Like, this one on my leg is my
nice.
Bill Hicks tribute tattoo. That's my most recent one. But I always try to get
For those who can't see it, there are mushrooms and a diamond, and it says...
no, that's the third eye chakra.
Oh, third eye chakra. Some petal, laughter is truth, love.
Love, laughter, and truth. And
just
it says,
remember, it's a ride. Yeah.
Remember, it's just a ride. And that's for Bill Hicks. He's my favorite comedian. And fucking just so ahead of his time. Gone way before his time, too. But the tattoos, I try to get ones that are as meaningful as possible. Like I have BNR on my arm, and that's Brand New Rome for this band Throttle, which was a local band back in my hometown that I did a lot of shows with back in my horrorcore rap group. I actually have their name tattooed on the inside of my lip.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
And
lip tat.
Yeah. And I have a bunch from Johnny the Homicidal Maniac as well, which is my favorite comic book. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No, I haven't.
It's by Joan Vasquez, who made Invader Zim, if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a bit darker. But I read it during my teen years, and I was just like, this is fucking awesome. But there's like a lot of stuff in it that's like, you know, it makes you think about like just certain aspects about heaven, hell, reality, sleep in general, and just, you know, how are we supposed to feel about rude people, you know?
Yeah.
But it was something I always liked, so I have a lot of tattoos from that. I think my favorite one, though, is probably the simplest, and that's my fire hazard tattoo on my bicep.
Very important for your life now.
Yeah. Like, I actually just got that one just off a whim. I walked into the tattoo shop, and the tattoo artist was like, "Hey, Eric, how we doing?" I was like, "I want a tattoo." He's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he's like, and so he hands me this book, and I was just looking through it, and I was like, "Fire hazard." Yes.
Wow. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anybody wants to find you, what's the best place that they can support your art? Because I'm assuming it must be hard out there for your neighborhood fire spitter. Where can they find you or find your shows?
Needlez the Vaudevillain on Instagram is probably the best. I have a Facebook business page that I really don't utilize much. I have a weird relationship with social media in general, but I am very active on my Instagram because it's kind of a necessary evil to have social media, especially if you're a performer in today's day and age. But Needlez the Vaudevillain on Instagram is definitely the best. I put a lot of videos of me breathing fire or practicing in my backyard, and post up about all upcoming shows and everything else going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for coming on, Needlez.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And if you guys are looking for some LNH Studios stuff, we just got accepted into the Newark International Film Festival, so you guys could catch that either in Newark or it might be a virtual festival. So check out more info on our website for 100-word screenings. And also, you can go to lnhstudios.com/shows because it is almost September, and we have shows in September because people are back from vacation and they want to see stuff, I guess. So enjoy the hot weather getting a little cooler. I love you all. Peace.